All right, what's up, everybody? 1 2 1 2 in the place to be. I am Frank Red. How are you doing out there? Another edition of the In the Dungeon program coming to you live and direct. Hopefully, you had a wonderful day and weekend filled with sports and other things in your life that has brought you great satisfaction or even a little pleasure. Um, that is my hope for you. I certainly had a great day watching so many different types of sports and handling all of my business and doing what I needed to do to get myself ready for the week. And there's nothing better that I can do to culminate the weekend than talking to you about what transpired today in the world of sports. There's a lot of buildup about this NFL weekend, notably the game between the San Francisco 49ers versus the Philadelphia Eagles, who were 10-1. 49ers came into the contest at 8-3. If you're a football fan, you watch the game and you know that the 49ers past quarter one just dominated Philly 42-19 in all aspects of the game. And I don't know how you could walk away from that game, regardless of the records, and feel comfortable saying that Philly is a better team. I don't think you can do that. It doesn't mean the 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl, but when they have everything working, when they are aligned properly, they look like a machine. And the irony is the 49ers play Seattle next, and Seattle could come into Levi breathing fire and put together a pretty darn good game. But we're going to focus on what transpired today. I got a nickname for Brock Purdy. I'm going to call him the algorithm. That's what he looked like. If they keep him clean, he makes all the throws. He knows who's open. Literally, he looked like a cyborg out there with Shanahan pushing all the right buttons. He was fantastic. He really was. And we're going to have a lot of time to talk further about his exploits. But if you're going to talk about Brock Purdy, you have to talk about the auxiliary parts of that 49ers offense that was on display and just got the Philly fans sick. And for a good reason. They couldn't stop him. They really couldn't. Vicky's getting in early. She says, put my glasses on. Am I going to fake it? Hi, Frank. Beautiful football today for the 49ers, unlike some basketball team yesterday. Why does Looney have so much trouble hitting free throws? Both games, he missed them at the end. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Warriors a little later. But you know my stance, Vicky. If you are a professional player, you should make at least 70% of your free throws, probably 75%. And for Looney to be less than that is inexcusable because you have time to work on it and you have time to practice. I remember Karl Malone. Karl Malone's first year or so in the NBA, he shot around 50%. But he worked on it, and throughout his career, he was high 70s. So I agree with you. When you're playing against really good teams, and in the NBA, 85% of the teams are all good. The games are going to come down to execution in fourth quarter and free throw shooting. And there's no reason why Looney or anybody else, Andrew Wiggins, should be shooting sub 70%. But we'll get into that a little later. I still want to talk about the 49ers. Deebo Samuels, when that dude is right, I mean, think about the 49ers personnel. They got all pros at every position. Ayuk, to me, is one of the best wide receivers in all of football. Certainly Deebo. Kittle, the combination of blocking and pass catching, Kittle's a top 5 tight end. Trent Williams, the offensive line play of the 49ers was every bit as good as the quarterback play or the wide receivers or CMC. They literally look like an all-star team today. And Philly, yeah, they got players, but On the defensive line particularly, Philly looked tired. They really did. They looked tired. They needed to stop the 49ers, and they couldn't stop them at all. Now, from Jalen Hurts' perspective, they're not running the same offense that they ran last year. Last year, they ran a read option, pass, run, pass offense, and it was unstoppable. Now, maybe because Jalen got paid, they're concerned about injuries, and I get it. They're trying to make him more of a conventional passing quarterback. That's not who he is. He can pass the ball, but when you keep him in a situation where he's not aggressively running the football, you're doing the opposition a favor. And I mean, the 49ers on the back end, Ward looked fabulous. Jair Brown, the rookie from Penn State, he was balling. The 49ers could have beat them by 40 or 50, if not for Greenwald. I mean, I think Greenwald woke them up, and they got a little juice, and they were able to sustain it for a little while. But the 49ers were clearly the better team. And I don't know how they rebuild that narrative. I mean, it doesn't mean – I thought actually that if Philly was going to beat the 49ers, weather was going to have to play a role in that process. And wasn't rooting for Philly. I was rooting for Jalen Hurts to play well. He didn't play well. I wanted to see him play well. Really didn't care who won. But I wanted to see a great game. And we didn't see a great game because the 49ers absolutely put it on the Eagles today. Let's go talk to Aussie Rules. Aussie Rules says, "Hi, Big Frank. One of the best wins since I've been a Niner fan, since Joe Montana days. I tell you what, it's one of the most dominating victories against a, quote, good team that we've seen in a long time. They were flawless. There is not one aspect of football that the 49ers did not excel in. And very, very impressive. No doubt about that." Vicky says, "Just in the first quarter, Philadelphia looked like they were in a daze." Yeah, they were in a daze. It's called the 49ers daze. And I give the 49ers credit for putting them in there because the Eagles were bewildered. They really were. They really couldn't run the ball. They couldn't pass the ball. And Jalen was not running. So if you ask me right now, who looks the best, it's the 49ers. I love Dak. You guys know that. But the Dallas Cowboys are a lot of splash. When you get down to fundamental football, even on defense, the Dallas Cowboys make a lot of splash plays. They have personnel. There's no doubt about it. I don't think they have the running game to really compete against the big boys when it gets tough. When they start putting heat on Dak and they need to run the ball, I don't think Dallas is quite good enough. Although I think Dak is playing as well as anybody. But when you look at the completeness of every team in the NFL, I don't think there's a team that is better than the 49ers because they can stretch the ball. They have the mid-range. They have the tight end play that you have to have. And they have the running backs. Mitchell doesn't even really play a lot. And when CMC went out of the game, did you see that guy? I mean, you would have thought that he was literally like a thoroughbred at Aqueduct, getting let out of the stall. That's how hard and precise he was running. So 49ers got it all going right now. Now, it is the NFL. Is anybody out there scared of Seattle? Anybody? Who's the better team? Come on. But Seattle's good. Vicky says, I'm hoping that Dallas can beat Philly this coming weekend. It's very possible. Very possible. Aussie Rule says, given last year's championship game, Niners did what they needed to do in Philly's home stadium. Yeah, they did more than that. I think most football fans would have been okay with the 49ers coming out of there 27, 24, 31, 28, something like that. No, they put the hammer down. It was hammer time. And every aspect of the game. And Vicky says, no, the Seahawks aren't as good as the Niners. No, they're not as good. I guess my point I'm asking is that can they give them a game and then can they potentially beat them? Seattle's playing good football. You look at the landscape of the NFL today. Vegas made a lot of money today. All of these, quote, 9-to-5 football betting experts, you got your butts handed to you today because there were some peculiar outcomes on these NFL games. It's why I don't bet. It's why, maybe I would bet a nickel or something like that. But I enjoy the games. I would love to hear from somebody out there who actually has made some money betting. Because there's no rhyme or reason. There really isn't. How many people thought Denver was going to lose today? I didn't. How many people thought the Arizona Cardinal, was going to go into Pittsburgh and beat them? I'll wait. Even if you were doing like some type of point spread or some crap like that, did anybody think that the 49ers were going to hammer Philly the way they did? I didn't think they was going to do that. Killer instinct. That's what the 49ers showed today. Yes, they did. Yeah, they were outstanding. And it's funny, Vicky, because as I was watching the 49ers dominate on offense and defense, I started to think of Steve Wilks, their defensive coordinator. When you look at all of the issues that they have in Carolina right now, to the extent that the owner basically gave up on the season by firing the coach. I don't know what he thought was going to happen by firing Frank Reich after 10, 11 games. Does it make him feel better? He's a billionaire. You would think that he would be like poised under pressure. It's okay not to bring the guy back, but fire him and think that was going to go out and change things. It wasn't going to change anything. I didn't see Bryce's stats today, but they have the same players. I was thinking about Steve Wilks because Steve Wilks got those guys to play pretty much 500 football last year. They loved the guy. Hell of a head coach, hell of a leader of men. And the players championed for Steve Wilks to get the job. And David Tepper, the owner of the Panthers, I don't want him. I'm going to go get my guy. And he got his guy and he lasted 10 games. Wilks is an excellent defensive coordinator. Everywhere he's gone, he's been a great defensive coordinator. Everywhere. In Cleveland, in Carolina. So I feel for that guy. He probably thinks that he's more effective in the booth. That's what he likes to do. But he fell in line. He's down on the sidelines right now, and the 49ers are playing terrific defense, particularly against the, quote, good teams. So hopefully he will get an opportunity. We're hearing, Brian Johnson, the offensive wizard from Detroit, Brian Johnson. It's like so many. I just want to hear an original thought. The first 100 people who mentioned Brian Johnson's name, okay. What about the next 1,000? Brian Johnson. Okay? There's other offensive coordinators out there who are doing great stuff. Even I mean, I can't think of it. I'm having a brain freeze right now. But Washington's offense has been fine. What's his name? I can't think of his name right now. The guy left KC, who's in Washington now. They've been fine this year, but you don't hear his name. There's any heat on his name anymore. Politics, man. Mickey says, I know if you bet on every horse in the race, you will win. That's why I don't bet. Yeah. I mean, I like going to Vegas once a year, once every couple of years. And, you know, if I have a finite amount of money that I might lose, I'm okay with it. And I might win. Last year, I went to Vegas. Wanted to collab with all the grandmas out there like I normally do with my nickel slot machine, my dime and my quarters, my pennies. And then I realized that in Vegas now, there is a minimum. You can't just like bet like a penny or a nickel. No. You know, there's a minimum bet. And I walked out of there with like $89, all in nickels or pennies or whatever. I don't remember. But I won the $89. It's just fun. But when you are actively betting, and that's what you do, good luck. And again, somebody's winning, I guess. I'm not going to go over the limit that I have to lose. I'm not doing that. Because there is, some endorphins or some type of mental stimulation that you get. You win, you get up a little bit. I remember one time, I actually won $300 in Seoul, Korea at a casino. I went to Seoul, Korea. I was playing on the NIT All-Star team. And we went over and played on a pre-Olympic tournament a long time ago. And they had casinos. Well, yeah, I was like probably like 19 or whatever. And those casinos, at least in Korea and probably everywhere else, well, not everywhere, but you can order food for free as long as you're playing. So I'm playing blackjack. I won $300. I bought a suit. I bought a suit for $200, won $300. Didn't really know what I was doing, but I guess I got lucky that night. But I don't fool myself. I'm not somebody who bets a whole lot. But it's fun. It's fun to watch the games. That's all I like to do. CMC goes over 1,000 yards for the first time. It's the first time since 2014 that a 49er running back is going over 1,000 yards. And, he was a hot name for a couple of weeks. Clearly one of the top 5 running backs in all of football. I don't know who's going to win the MVP. I think Brock Purdy, just because it's kind of a quarterback award, probably reemerged today as a real strong MVP candidate, which is unbelievable. Brady was drafted in the 6th round, but there's obviously never been a Mr. Irrelevant, somebody drafted as low as Brock Purdy was, to win the MVP. That would be unbelievable. And, for everybody out there who is shaking pom-poms in your hand, celebrating that the 49ers are able to win football games and have a quarterback play on a high level with a minuscule salary. I'm not one of those people. I think it sucks. I honestly do. I think Purdy got hurt last year. He could get hurt at any second. And his career could never be the same again. And he make $1 million. I mean, fans, I don't understand that about fans. I don't. I'm always looking out for the players. Always. Fans, sometimes, I guess, with fantasy football, who are you looking out for? Your own fantasy team? You looking out for the owners? I mean, once you establish yourself as a player, Shouldn't you get paid a salary that's commensurate with your play? Does anybody feel for Brock Purdy? I do. He's not going to say anything. Vicky, co-MVP with who? Who? CMC? I assume that's what you're talking about. If I was voting for the MVP, it would be Tyreek Hill to me. I think Tyreek Hill is going to go over 2,000 yards. Never been done in the history of the NFL. And he's just better than everybody else. Teams are scheming for him to no avail. He's faster. It's hard to find really, really fast players who can catch. Tyreek Hill actually has excellent hands. I mean, the 49ers tried it 25 years ago with Ronaldo Skeets Nehemiah. A track guy who actually became a decent wide receiver. But he was a fast guy who had questionable hands, and he started to catch enough passes to actually have a career. But Tyreek Hill is different. We've never seen anybody who was as fast as Tyreek Hill who had the hands that he has. We've never seen that before. My man Samuel, thank you, brother, for stepping in the dungeon. I really appreciate you, all right? Hope all been well, OG. What's the diagnosis on the Warriors? Lost 7 of the last 10 with lots of blown double-digit leads. Yeah, we're going to get into that. I wanted to big up the 49ers for a while. That was a big deal. Austin Rule said, could the Niners have 3 MVP candidates, Purdy, CMC, and Debo? I don't think Debo's an MVP candidate simply because of what Tyreek Hill's done. And there's some other, A.J. Brown. I think his numbers are probably comparable to the best wide receivers in the NFL. The Dallas wide receiver, the wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, CJ, right? I don't think he's head and shoulders above. So I think Tyreek is the one guy playing wide receiver this year who could potentially win the MVP. Vicky says, I believe Purdy has to wait 3 more years to get a bag. CMC and Purdy, yeah. Doesn't seem fair, right, Vicky? I mean, to you? I mean, would you like to just crush it at your job or your business, whatever you do for a living? I don't know. But would you like to crush it for the next 3 years and make the same salary? Or do you think that there should be some type of system in place where you could be rewarded for being outstanding? The Warriors have no killer instinct. Expound on that point, please. Samuel says the Niners had a great win on the road. I'm curious to see how the front office handles Purdy's future contract. Yeah, it's tough business. Pay CMC ASAP. Is this the last year of his deal or just kind of extend him? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. It's interesting, and I said this at the beginning of the year. I've mentioned it a few other times. I kind of got the message. I got the assignment, but when the 49ers went out and got Chase from the Commanders, game on. 3rd round pick. Chase is not going to be on the 49ers next year. I don't think so. Why? Because they can't afford him. This is year 7 for the Shanahan Lynch regime. Year 7. It doesn't feel like it, does it? They've gone to a Super Bowl, but right now, if you ask somebody, how long has Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch been in command of the 49ers? You might say, 4 or 5 years, not 7. They know that the clock is ticking. And why is the clock ticking? Because all of this talent that they have has to get paid. It wouldn't surprise me, as shocking as this is, it would not surprise me if Debo or Ayuk got traded. I mean, for like a mid-level first-round pick or something like that, because there's some really good wide receivers in college football right now. Really good. Florida State has 2 of them. There's going to be flat-out studs. University of Washington Huskies. I don't want to kill homeboy's name, but Ozeni or whatever his name, I can't think of his name. He's real good. They got some guys in college right now that's going to set the league on fire next year. And the 49ers are probably being strategic, shaking the bushes, looking at everything. Priority number 1 is winning the Super Bowl, but it would not surprise me if some of those guys didn't come back next year. Aussie Rule says, side topic. Frank, you have been, have you been to any Rose Bowl game or parade? I used to attend for years. Great college sports environment. Nah, I have not. I've been watching on television since I was a kid. Obviously, a historic event. Growing up in New York, we're used to watching the Rose Bowl, Pac-10 champion. But it seems so much fun, man. I mean, I'm dismayed by the Pac-12 going away. I am. I think it's just horrible. I honestly do. I would have gone had it still been in place. When you have a major college game like they do this year being played at the Rose Bowl, it's just circumstance. It doesn't have the pageantry that it used to have, I don't think. Pac-12's gone. Vicky says the Warriors right now can't hold a lead. Give their opponents hope to come back. Killer instinct kills hope. Okay, Vicky. Now I'm going to ask you to do this. Give the opposition some credit. What Paul George did yesterday was big time. He proved why he makes $30 million, $35 million a year. That wasn't coaching. That wasn't bad defense by Clay. Steph missed a pretty easy shot by his standards. He faded to the left a little bit, a 12-footer. Didn't make it. I mean, if Steph makes that shot, the Warriors are up 4, and they probably win the game. I'm never going to blame Steph Curry for missing the shot based on how many that he's made. Paul George came down, hits Clay with the hezzy, step back, pulled up from like 26, 27 feet, bottom. Give him credit. Give him credit. The Clippers won that game. The Warriors didn't lose that game. I think the Clippers won that. Please make attending the Rose Bowl parade and game a bucket list item. Great event. I will do that. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually having fun watching the Warriors. You might say, Red, what do you like? Getting stabbed in the back by knives or something? No, I mean, you know what? Hey, I love the journey. I also love to see young players develop. I love that. I love it. Brandon Podzinski, what is he going to become? I have no idea. But I've already said on air that I was wrong about the guy. He's making plays. But watching Moses Moody ascend, watching Jonathan Kuminga get he didn't play as much as I thought he should have yesterday, but he's playing well. The dunk of the year? Oh my goodness. Frank, if Looney made the free throws, they win the game. Yeah, you know what? Do you honestly think Looney is that skilled, Vicky? Do you? Because I don't. I do. I mean, I've never seen somebody who's 27 or 28 look like 42. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, the most gracious guy, a humble teammate, but I saw at least 2 or 3 passes that Steph Curry spoon-fed him, and he just flat out dropped right in his hands. I mean, if I saw it, Steve Kerr saw it, the assistant saw it. Looney is not playing real well. He's still rebounding if the ball comes in his hands, yeah. But, that's why Sarge has played so much. Now, you won't see me get on Looney a whole lot because I don't ever look at the guy and say, you know what, I don't think he's playing hard. I think he is playing hard. I just don't think that he's all that talented. And the talent I'm talking about has more to do with his physical limitations, not his IQ, not his desire, like structurally. The Warriors are probably scared to touch Looney's shot because there's nothing good about the way he shoots the basketball. Anybody listening right now will tell you how Kevon Looney shoots the basketball is the antithesis of how you teach shooting. There's a lot of twists and things. No, elbow's not straight. He's not. I mean, the recoil on the shot is not good. The backspin, not good. And somehow, he's carved out a damn good NBA career for himself. But they're scared to touch that shot. Then Looney shouldn't be in the game at the end. Okay. So who are you going to put in? You're going to put in Saric? The one thing that Looney still can do is rebound some. He can defensive rebound. Yeah, that's all he can do. Saric is not a good rebounder. Early in the game, he's okay, but he gets tired. I mean, the Clippers didn't really have like a real big guy out there on the floor outside of Zubac. And Zubac was like getting rebounds over the Warriors like he was eating soup on their heads. Multiple offensive rebounds late in that game. It was frustrating. The issue that I have, Vicky, is the Warriors don't box out. Draymond's the only guy who generally box out. That's the problem. They got to stop boxing out. The Warriors need rim protection badly. Yeah, they do. And I think that they wanted JaVale. I think they wanted to sign JaVale. And he made a choice, to go Sac. And why? I mean, I guess he said he wanted to play for an organization that involves a big man. Okay. JaVale would have been great. Looney looks like Charles Barkley on the golf course. Wow. You think? Big guys got to work hard, man. I have to work out. How much you guys think I weigh? Because I'm going to say Barkley probably weighs about 330. No, 335, 340. And I'm gonna tell you what's scary to me. Ozempic. I work out 5 days a week. 5 out of the 7 days I'm in the gym. I weigh over 300. Now, I'm in. I'm in good shape. Don't get me wrong. I'm in good shape. I'm a big dude. But if I didn't work out, I don't know if I would look like Barkley because our body types are different. But when you get of a certain age, you got to work out, man. I mean, it gets real ugly as you start to age and you don't work out and you don't have any blood flow. You ain't doing a whole lot besides sitting down, and that's the worst thing that you can do. So, and these magical drugs now, Ozempic and some of these other drugs where you stick something inside of yourself and you lose 20 pounds. That's scary stuff. Anybody out there using that stuff or something different? How's your experience been? Nobody's really talking about it because the the visual outcomes, I guess, have been pretty good. Not something I would do, but I'm interested. No judgment here, Vicky says TJD boxes out, still learning though. Yeah, there you go. I agree with you, Vicky. And I think that he has again rubbed some of the vets the wrong way because he's dropped some passes. Stephen Curry is one of the most fierce competitors in the NBA. If you drop passes that Steph gives you, you ain't gonna be in there. You don't have to yell, you don't have to talk loud, but you're not gonna be in the game if you drop passes under the basket or you miss time rebounds. And that's what Jackson Davis was doing, which was surprising to me because he has good hands and they can use him. And he's going to get another opportunity. Maybe that opportunity will come on Wednesday when they play the Portland Trail Blazers at home, a team that no way they should lose to. The Warriors are 9-11. Again, they play OKC on Friday at OKC. That's going to be a battle. But it's a battle that I think that they can possibly win. If you said, and Vicky, you're pretty tough. If I said after 22 games, the quarter poll, if you will, the Warriors are 11-11 or 10-11, based on how tough the NBA is right now. Are you totally upset? Do you think they should be so much better? I think that the first quarter of the season, you kind of feeling people out. What kind of team do we have? Does the coach have the rotations down? Stuff like that. I think they're in pretty good shape, actually. Mike Delivery has a lot of work this summer. Yeah, he does, but I mean, the biggest job that he has is dealing with the Klay Thompson situation. I assume they have their first round pick, right? They still have their pick. So they're locked in. They're locked in with Draymond. They're obviously locked in with Steph. GP2, I believe, has another year. Wiggins has another year, unless he's going to make some trades. NBA teams don't like to make trades, particularly blockbusters. They don't like to make big-time trades because it's so hard to get talent in return. It's hard. So I think getting Klay's contract in line is the biggest issue. Like Vicky is talking about, maybe going out there and getting some rim protection, a big guy who can play to complement Jackson Davis, because Sarge is not going to be there next year. Sarge is playing on a minimum contract. I don't care if he has to go to DC next year to get some money. He's gone. I don't blame him one bit. Now, if the Warriors have the mid-level exception because they have more cap relief and they can sign him for $5 million, something like that, then I think there's a possibility that he could come back. But he's not coming back for the minimum contract. No way. I wouldn't. Vicky says, I hope they are practicing right now. I thought they were going to win 60 games. Now I'm not sure they can get to 50. Yeah, I think 60 wins, Vicky, was pretty ambitious. I had them winning 50. Now I'm looking at somewhere between 45 and 50. Um, yeah, I think that if they could get home court advantage in the first round, that would be good. A lot of teams are saying that the Warriors are not even a play-in team. Listening to to veteran players or retired players talk about basketball, sometimes it's just like it's numbing to me because although they were great players at the highest level, they were coached. They seemingly have no respect for all the components that constitute winning. Think of the losses that the Warriors have had this year. OKC, buzzer beater. Sacramento, buzzer beater. Clippers, buzzer beater. Those are three. The Warriors are 9-11. They could easily be 12-8. Easily. And people are ready to stomp dirt on them? Give me a break. I don't get it. Samuel says, I think the Warriors will shop Kuminga to see his market value. Kuminga with another player or pick could be a nice package. Well, I'm on record as saying now, I think Kuminga can be a top 50 player. The way that he's playing right now, the way that he is ascending, if you want Pascal Siakam and you're willing to give up Wiggins and Kuminga, by January, I think you're going to be able to get him. I do. So then you look at the Warriors team. Looney, Pascal, Draymond, Clay, and Steph. No Kuminga. Maybe you'll get somebody back. I don't know who you'll get back. I like Kuminga right now. I do. I'm not willing to give up that guy. Frank, in a lot of the games you named, the Warriors blew 20-point leads. Clippers, OKC, Sac, all came back from over 20. Yeah, they did. Everybody comes back in the NBA. Yes. Look at the Warriors roster construction. They have an older team. And CP3's been hurt. So the big assist needs to go to health with regards to the Warriors. Because if they are healthy, they can compete, I believe, against anybody. If they're not healthy, then we got issues. I think that much of Chris Paul. I do. When Stephen Curry plays more than X amount of minutes, probably around 34, 35, his production drops precipitously. Big time drop off. Particularly when he has to initiate offense and also score. He gets tired. That little heart that he has in his body that we all look at and go, wow. Shows human tendencies. He gets tired. So, the other issue with regards to giving up big leads, and this is a function of basketball, they don't have an inside game. When you got a good big, the game is a lot easier. You ever heard of Jokic? You ever heard of Embiid? Although Embiid doesn't always play to his strength, but if you got a big who can score, the game's a lot easier. So I like this Warrior team. I do, man. I like it. I like the team. Is it nauseating sometimes to watch them lose these big leads and lose? But think about this. If you're Ty Lue and your owner is Steve Ballmer, the richest NBA owner, and you're making $5 to $8 million a year, you can't lose to the Warriors at home. You better be competitive. Otherwise, he gonna want to talk to you. What's up, Ty Lue? The Clippers got, what, 4 Hall of Famers on their team? Westbrook. This narrative that Harden can't play anymore is a complete lie. George and Kawhi? And the Warriors are supposed to roll through there and beat them, even though they're up 20? No. That was going to be a competitive game. That was a tough loss. But you got to get it back, man. Part of the journey is to go into somebody else's house, eat the food, and leave. They got an opportunity to do that on Friday in OKC. I love it. Because they're not losing on Wednesday to Portland. That's not happening. It's part of it. It's part of the journey. This NBA is so good. I don't think fans really understand how good this league is. And also, add in rest. I mean, the travel, the getting on the planes, the getting in at 3 a.m., 3-4 hours sleep, the shoot arounds. It's tough. The Warriors are the most professional team in the NBA, to me. I'm sure some other organization would say, Red, you're wrong. And that's okay. But they run a tight ship. They really do. And they take care of their players. And it's still very, very hard. NBA basketball, it comes down to series. Can you win series? That's how good this league is. GP2 has been the bigger loss. I disagree with you. And why do you say that? Quantify that thought, Vicky. Because of late in-game defense? I think he's missed. But I think Chris Paul is the bigger loss because he initiates offense. And I think in the games in which the Warriors have problems, they struggle offensively because too much of the responsibility is put on Steph. I think Chris Paul makes the game a lot easier for him. Back-to-back games can't be easy. Oh, no, they're tough. They really are hard. Samuel says, I always thought being a pro athlete was simple until I actually knew guys in the league. It's a serious business. Oh my God, man. It is a serious business. I actually exchanged text messages today with somebody who's in the league. And just words of encouragement, and they hit me back, man. It's because I watch everything. I'm not just watching the scores. I'm watching all of the things that we're actually having a conversation about now. It's tough. It's tough. It really is. Suppose like your star player doesn't want to be where he is. He's your star player. Suppose like Stephen Curry was giving out vibes that he wanted to be traded. How would that affect his teammates? All of these things happen in the league that the public doesn't know about. Some of these ridiculous injuries that come up, or sometimes it's so ridiculous they'll just say X player is not playing for personal reasons. We don't know what the hell that is. We have no idea. I'm not going to speculate on air because it doesn't look good. But all you got to do is go on the internet. There's so many different stories out there of things that happen in the NBA and in professional sports that get covered up that affect the on-court product. It's amazing. Vicky says, defense and getting second chance points. Yeah, that's a big deal. Warriors defense is actually not bad, Vicky. It's not bad. And the way that you judge that, what is their differential between offense and defense? It's virtually even. Teams that lose a lot of games have an unbalance. They're giving up a lot more points than they're scoring. The Warriors' differential is fairly close. So I'm going to say, we'll be talking about it, but give it 30 games. I'm hoping that Sacramento wins the in-season tournament. Me too. I really enjoyed watching Sac. I watched Sac last night, and I like their team. I do. I think that if Keegan Murray doesn't step up, he's coming off of an injury, they're going to have a tough time beating a team like the Warriors. And I don't think they can beat the Warriors in a series. I don't. Unless they have another guy. Because, De'Aaron Fox is carrying – his load is heavier than Stephen Curry's load. Monk is playing great basketball, but he's still streaky. He's not a starter. Like, I'm looking on the internet now, and people are saying, what do the Kings have to do to re-sign him? Well, we could start at 17 million, 18, 19, for a total of 78 million. Is he a $78 million player as streaky as he is? I hope he gets every dime. I hope Monk gets every dime. But if I got to pay him and some of the ridiculous fouls that he makes, a $20 million player is somebody who you would think is going to play plus 30 minutes a game. Is Monk a guy who's going to play 30 plus minutes a game? I don't think so. Is he damn good? Yes, he is. Sacramento is fun to watch. Yes, they are. And their crowd is amazing. Their fan base is incredible. They got a great fan base. Their fan base is one of the best in the NBA. They rival the Warriors. The Warriors fan base, they're rock solid. But the Warriors fan base is changing. It has changed since they've come from Oakland to San Francisco. It's not quite the same fan base. It's not. Everybody knows it. But they're good. They're solid. Incredible atmosphere when you go over to Chase and watch a game. It's great. Sac is emotional. They love that team. Different vibe. So, yeah, I'm a big Mike Brown fan. Because he literally had to take some hard steps backwards to get to where he is. And I think his tenure as a member of the Golden State Warriors organization has really set him up for success. I thought he was masterful last night as a coach. He didn't blink, and as a result, his team didn't blink. And they took down the world champs. And looked good doing it. Looked really good doing it. So Sacramento has talent, but need a piece or two. Yeah, I agree with you. Backup point is an issue for them. Samuel, very true. I've been to both Oracle and Chase Center for tons of games. Chase is super corporate. Yeah, man, it really is. It is. And the Warriors know it. Now, from a business perspective, did they make the right decision? Yeah, they did. They did. If they built a new arena in Oakland, by the water, by BART, or wherever they wanted to do it, it wouldn't be worth $7 billion. I don't think so. Maybe 5.5, but it wouldn't be 7. Chase Center is a spectacle. The proximity between Chase and all of the great hotels in San Francisco, it is what it is. But ticket prices are higher, less diverse. Um, different vibe, totally different vibe, and it'll be interesting to see how their fan base continues to evolve. Sacramento has a very diverse fan base. They really do. And if you've been to Golden One Arena in Sacramento, there's not a bad seat in the house, folks. Their design, their interior design is outstanding. One of the best designs in the NBA. I don't care if you're in the rafters at Golden One. There is not a bad seat in the house. It's designed differently. It's not as steep. You know, it's kind of lazy boy recliner chair-ish. You know, if anybody's ever sat in a lazy boy where you just kind of tilt that sucker back, you go way back, lift up those legs a little bit, and you're watching the action like a ski slope type situation. When you're at Chase, if you're in the rafters, it's like hanging over a ledge. Don't have a few beers, man. Good luck. It's a long fall down. Samuel says King should go after Tyus Jones, yeah, or Emmanuel Quigley. Not sure if contracts can match up though. Those are two great names. Those are two great names. I love Jones. He would be great for the Kings. He's gonna make a lot of money like his brother did. And Quigley is good. Quigley would probably push for more starters minutes. I mean, Quigley might be a starter, and I think his agent is probably going to push that narrative out there. And who knows, man? Quigley, because Quigley has that innate scoring ability, kind of like a Maxey, you know, a Tyrese Maxey. I'm not saying he's Tyrese Maxey, but he's good. He's really good. Vicky says Oracle was always fun to go to. Yeah, man, loved it. Loved Oracle. And you know, I like Chase. It's just different. It's just different. Samuel says, I like Golden One a lot more than Chase. A person has actually died falling from the second level of Chase Center, RIP. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. I'm sorry to hear that. I did not know that. But like I said before, I've been there numerous times. And the media section is up really, really high at Chase. So you got to be careful. You have to be careful. It is steep. It is very steep. It really is. And Golden One's not like that. Golden One is, like I said, kind of like a hill as opposed to a cliff. That's the difference. There's been a ton of shows today about the 49ers. I'm sure everybody's really got over on the 49ers conversation. They were victorious today, 42-19 over the Philadelphia Eagles. A resounding victory, total domination, and they look like the best team in the NFL. Whether or not they'll win the Super Bowl or where they'll end up, where they'll end up in terms of seeding, we don't know. Because Philly got out to a good start, they're still in good shape. Although, if Dallas wins in Dallas, then they're tied, and I think Dallas has the tiebreaker. So, conceivably, the Dallas Cowboys have a real chance of being the number one seed in the NFC. I guess Detroit does as well. And the 49ers, if they continue to play well and don't lose again, then maybe they can become the number one seed. Vicky says, Golden One is fun to watch games. I can't afford Chase. Yeah, I've never paid for a ticket to go to Chase. I can't see myself paying for one based on the same reasons that you just said. I can't afford it. I could afford it, but I don't think I feel good about myself after the fact. So fortunately, I'm able to cover a couple of games a year, or as many as I asked for, really. It's tough getting over there, but I'll go cover some games thanks to some of the relationships I have with the Warriors. Rock solid. They generally take care of me. I feel very, very fortunate and very lucky. But the ticket prices are just wow. I mean, but like if I'm buying like a Christmas present or something like that, for a kid or a friend who loves the Warriors, $300. I think I paid like $350 to see Lauryn Hill, something like that. So once a year, probably not twice a year, because I don't want to be up in the rafters. So if I got to spend $300, $350 for a nice ticket, 2 tickets, then I can do that. I can afford it. But I know people who have season tickets. I'm not that guy. One of the things I wanted to talk about over the next 30 minutes or so, we'll probably be on for another 30 minutes. Let's get Vicky in here. Vicky says, if Dallas wins, the 49ers own the tiebreaker. Both Philly and Dallas. Okay. All right. So the 49ers are rooting for Dallas, that's for sure. I wanted to talk to you guys and whomever's listening about the Final Four in college football. Texas, Alabama, Michigan, and Washington. I put out a tweet last night on X. And I said, Florida State fans, you ain't making it to the Final Four. You can forget it. And it sucks if you are a Florida State fan or a player or coach, you feel like you got shafted. And in all honesty, you did. But you knew it was coming. Is it fair? No, it's not fair. Is it the right thing to do? I think so. I do. If your goal as a committee is to present the best product to the American college football loving public, you're not going to put Florida State in this 4-team tournament with a third or fourth string quarterback when they put bad football on tape. Terrible football. If they had went out last night against Louisville and put 28 points on the board, then, you had a strong argument to say, listen, don't disrespect us. But they looked bad last night. And, I was thinking to myself, Booger McFarland, great football player at LSU, current employee of ESPN, Booger was, this is a tragedy. Oh my God, Florida State. Oh, it's terrible. Can you believe it? And then you realize that Booker lives in Florida. Hello, I'm Booker McFarland. Come on down to Tampa Bay Ford for your new Taurus. 20% off. Hello, I'm Booker McFarland. Come out to Katie's Crab Shack in Tampa. You see how this works, right? There's no way in hell Booger McFarland could live in the state of Florida and say that they didn't deserve to be in the tournament. Come on. Of course he was going to say they deserve to be in the tournament because he lives there. I wish they had a 16 playoff games. Yeah. One more year, Vicky. Next year they're going to 12. So, and guess what? Team 13 will say, listen, we should be in it. But 12 is a lot better than 4. Do I feel sorry for Florida State? Yeah, I do. But there's a part of me that says that you should have a better backup quarterback. I mean, when Travis went down, who is outstanding, but I mean, can anybody listening to this program make a case that Florida State should be in there if you're looking at the top 4 teams. I can't make that case. I wanted to, but when I saw them play, I can't make that case. I think the committee got it right. Michigan versus Alabama is going to be a hell of a game. And Texas versus Washington is going to be an interesting game. They got it right, man. It sucks for Florida State. Also, apparently, I don't think the ACC commissioner had the level of juice that he needed to have. Because Sankey, I think it was Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner. Listen, an SEC team was getting in the tournament. We all know this. Dude came out early Saturday morning, 7 o'clock Pacific Coast time, firing shots on the ESPN pregame show. He was saying, listen, if an SEC team is not in it, you don't really have a tournament. One of these leagues are not the same. Sankey was on a roll, and you were like, oh, okay. All right. SEC is going to be taken care of. The ACC commissioner didn't get the level of airtime that I think that he needed to get, to flex. So I'm not surprised. Other thing I want to talk about is, and this is kind of sensitive, when you look at University of Colorado, Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, was his tenure this year a success? Was it a failure? Was it something else? And what grade would you give the program this year? The reason why I'm bringing it up is because apparently Deion Sanders, I guess, is being recognized as for Sportsman of the Year. As somebody who has, reconstructed college football and done all these wonderful things. And, start from the standpoint that Deion has a lot of haters. All right, so start there. Because it's true. He has a lot of haters. There are other programs that have not done as well this year, and you don't hear a peep from them. But he got a lot of media attention. He's on 19,000 commercials. I get it. I look at things from a broad perspective. You can't talk about Colorado without considering the economic impact that he's had on that university and on college football. You can't have that conversation. If you want to have several conversations to say, Red, just keep it football, we can talk about that. But for those of us who follow college sports, we know that that's not what it's all about. It's about the money also. And there's been no greater marketer for their university and for himself, for his kids, and presumably his players, than Deion Sanders. So, check. Losing 7 or 8 straight games, there's no way you can look at that and say that was successful. Losing to Stanford after being up 29-0, that was their season right there. Because all of the glory dust that they sprinkled on the players was gone. It was over. Because to win at a high level, you got to get players playing above their talent level. Not at and not below. Some guys have to play above their talent level. There's nobody who played above their talent level after that tremendous, debilitating loss to Stanford. Nobody. Here's the other issue that I have. Coaching. I'm having serious concerns about the level of coaching that the Colorado players received. Is Deion Sanders coaching the DBs? That unit was actually okay. Wasn't spectacular. Travis Hunter was spectacular. And he got beat pretty badly when he first came back. Maybe he should not have been playing at that point. But that unit was okay. They were not spectacular. Defensive line, offensive line, We didn't see any improvement. Zero improvement. So you got to coach these college kids up. You got to coach them up. I'm not an offensive line coach. I'm not a defensive line coach. I played defensive line in college at Fordham. I have some reservations about the coaching. I do. Because I didn't see them on a trajectory where they were getting better. I just didn't see it. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that you saw something that I did not see. And I'll go, okay, because I didn't see it. Removing Sean, I think Ellis, his name is, from his offensive coordinator position, play calling. Sean Lewis, his name is. I thought that was a mistake. I thought it was wrong. I thought it was hurtful. I thought it was blaming. And it did not produce significant benefits when it happened. This is a guy who gave up his head coaching career to come work for you, Deion. And you remove him as offensive coordinator? I didn't like that. I don't like it. Not that Fritz Shurmur is a scrub. Fritz Shurmur was a head coach in the NFL. He can call plays. But low-key humiliating Sean Lewis, I didn't like that at all. You knew Sean Lewis wasn't coming back. Now, it's all nice because Sean Lewis is the new head coach at San Diego State. All right? So it's not like he's taking a lateral move. No, he's a head coach. Got a job. Their defensive line coach is not coming back. There'll be some other coaches who don't come back. I just want to see the commitment to that university over a 5-year period. That's all I want to see. And then look at the results, but get to work. This idea that you're going to have 5-star recruits and all of the top portal players, that's not going to happen. That's not how college teams are built. You got to take players who have talent and help them become better players. Hard work. It's not easy. So I would give Colorado in Deion's first year a C- to a C. Can't give him any higher than a C. I can't give him any lower than a C-. So a C to C- is what I would give him in his first year. He's moving to the Big 12. So that's a whole nother story, different style of football. Not as offensively sophisticated as the Pac-12, but big, and they run the football. So he's going to have to go out and get some big boys. Offensive and defensive line. DBs, I don't think it'll be a problem. I don't think linebackers will be a problem. Offensively, I think they have enough. But their offensive and defensive lines got to get better real quick. Otherwise, you're going to see some of the same things you saw this year, next year. And they're going into the league with TCU and Nebraska, teams that they beat. They want to get over on Colorado. You know that. And Oregon's going over there. So, Vicky says, I would give him a C this year. I think he will get better players and coaches next year. Get off the Florida kid. Not his fault. He tried his best. he is just a kid. Who are you talking about? The Florida kid. Who are you talking about? Help me out. I don't know that story. Help me out, Vicky. So you and I are on the same page in terms of the grade that we think he could get, that we think he deserves. I'm not quite sure about the Florida kid. Please explain that. A couple other things I want to get in here. Did you guys? I mean, were you guys as surprised as I was? Maybe this happens all the time, but we just don't hear it. But the Ime Udoka, LeBron James take last night, you guys saw that? Ime Udoka's different. I mean, he used some words towards LeBron that you wouldn't expect people to use. And, I don't know if LeBron thought he was going to get a different encounter when he walked over to the Houston sideline. But by today, people had found audio tape, was on the internet, and some of the words Ime used weren't nice. I think the official had no choice but to kick him out because those words were that pointed. You can find it on the internet if you want to. But I was surprised that exchange occurred between LeBron and Ime. You guys see that? And if so, what are your thoughts? Not surprising that players and coaches talk stuff back and forth, but usually coaches and players don't talk to each other. They usually don't. Samuel says, not mad at Ime one bit. About time someone stands up to LeBron. He's been running the league for too long. Yeah, I don't think that Ime views LeBron as a tough guy. Yeah, I don't think anybody really. I think it's like, it's almost like you're saying, Samuel, like, there's like this bowing of the hand, bowing to the throne when it comes to LeBron. And Ime is like, nah, that's not how we're going to do this. So, surprising. Call him out of his name. I mean, I don't think they'll be exchanging Christmas cards anytime soon. Third string quarterback. Okay, Vicky, yeah. I didn't see the comments. I didn't know that. Did Deion blame him or something? I mean, third string. Give me a break. And then we really didn't know the extent of Shadour's injury. And then we saw Deion and Shadour in a luxury box in Dallas. So I don't want to see Deion fail. I don't want to see him fail, particularly for not working hard. I want to see some practice footage where I know he's had some health issues with his feet. Maybe he can't get out there and do stuff. I don't know. But you got to coach these guys up. Coach them up. These are college kids. I played college basketball. We were competitive against teams that we had no business playing against. Zero. I remember one time we played Wichita State in their Christmas tournament. 12, 13,000. Wheat shockers. You always schedule a team in your tournament who you think you can beat. This just in. We beat them in overtime in their own tournament with their own referees that they go to church with on Sundays. Lost to St. John's by 1 point when they had 4 future first-round draft picks on their team. And we lost by 1 point. In their building. That's all I want to see. I want to see Colorado compete. We saw some games this year where we had to question whether or not they were competing every game. because almost like their souls have been taken. That's coaching. That's coaching at every level. I don't care if it's NBA, NFL, college, high school, middle school. It doesn't matter. Players will run through a wall for you if they believe. If they believe in you, they'll run through a wall for you. They really will. We didn't always see that this year in Colorado. Vicky says, I can't see Steve doing anything like that to Steph. Humiliating him like the third string quarterback, you mean? No way in hell. No way. Samuel says, we're always taught to play through a bad call. Absolutely. I understand playing with emotion, but LeBron argues with the refs too much lately. Yeah. Yeah, because he thinks he's an elder statesman. He thinks he probably, deserves certain things. And that's not how the league works. The reason why the NBA has been great is because the best players get the privileges. Now LeBron's one of the most talented players in the NBA still. But what is his impact? What is his impact? Minus getting an exorbitant number of calls that seemingly players and maybe some other coaches think that he shouldn't be getting. I don't know. Okay, Vicky, so you're saying at the University of Florida, the head coach berated the third string quarterback? Is that what you're saying? I know the coach's first name is Billy. I can't think of his last name. But I think that's where you're going with that. I was always taught, and it's why that me and my college coach, we still talk. I have his number. We still have conversations. I need to call him just to check on him. We talk for hours. And we didn't always have the most rosy relationship, but I love the guy. I love him. And he's had a tremendous impact on my life. And here's what he said. He said, publicly, I'm always going to take responsibility for the outcomes of the games. What I need you to do is do what I tell you to do. And if you do what I tell you to do and you try your best, to the best of your ability, we good. Because you're not a pro. And now I don't know the context, Vicky, because I didn't watch that. But that's just my philosophy. That's my philosophy as a coach. I'll never blame any of my players. Never. A coach should never blame a player. Never. Never. But players should do what coaches tell them to do, and do it to the best of their abilities, and do it with conviction, and get it right, because it matters. So I think that's what you're talking about. Samuel says, that's what I meant by standing up to LeBron. Yeah. Let's not forget he called the league office to get Draymond suspended. Wow, did he do that? I didn't remember that. Draymond used the same language as Emmy. Yeah, because because LeBron said, I remember him saying, he said he called me something he shouldn't call me or something like that, right? Yeah. Emmy is like, yo, we out here, man. We ain't playing. I didn't come to Houston, to go hang out at night. To check out the social scenes. Well, maybe he did, but I'm also here to turn this thing around. And he's doing it. Big him up. Last thing I want to say, if you read my tweets, you know my position on this. The only way that Belichick should be allowed to coach the New England Patriots going forward is if he gives up all personnel responsibilities. That's it. His vision of what a quarterback should look like in 2023 is archaic. And Sometimes the game passes you by. Sometimes it's time to give the reins to somebody else. Because there were numerous players that he could have drafted, that he did not draft, that could have done a better job than the QB1s that he's put out this year. And I think that his vision, his systemic approach to what a quarterback should look like in 2023 it's he's locked in like 1993 or something. You know, he needs to give those responsibilities up. Can he still coach? I think he can. Bill O'Brien is a hell of an offensive coordinator. Maybe Bill O'Brien is the guy that they're going to, give the reins to. I think most think that Belichick wants to get that record and be the all-time winning coach. I'm okay with that. Be the coach. But the personnel responsibilities, I think he needs to give that up. I think they would be better off letting somebody else do it. Somebody who has a different approach. I don't know how you feel about that. Samuel says, I think LeBron's ego has gotten too large. He calls himself the GOAT while still chasing records until he's humbled again. I don't see him winning at a high level. He got a big ego. There's no doubt about that. Gigantic. Michigan players will run through a wall for Jim. Yeah, I'm not sure if the Colorado players will run through a wall for Coach Prime. Yeah. Vicky, I think you're spot on. I do. And he got to get that back, because I think he had that for a minute, but he got to get it back. And I don't think you get it back by being on 19 commercials. I don't think you do that. I think that he has to roll up his sleeves and get the work, and coach kids up. Get the right coaches. If he doesn't have all of them, and let them do their jobs, and improve. And I think they will improve. But I would agree with you. Harbaugh has always done that. Harbaugh is a galvanizer to the extent that I think management and ownership is jealous. Just a little jealous. Like when I look at the 49ers now, as great a play caller as Kyle Shanahan is, and as wonderful a coach as he is, I think the players are just as connected to John Lynch. I think they're right there with John Lynch. I don't think you have the success of the 49ers if John Lynch isn't there. He's a blue-collar guy. He's been in the trenches. Players can relate to him. And I think it is a total team effort between Lynch and Shanahan. Colorado, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, is the preeminent figure in that university as it relates to football. And I think he lost some of those guys. How do you get it back? With Michigan, they love Harbaugh. Love him. Coach Prime will be successful in the future. Give him time to recruit and build a real culture. Seems like this season was lost in the hype. I think every game they played this year sold out. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I can't say that it was a failure, because, money is important. They made a lot of money, but I think that a lot of the luster has to manifest into fundamentally sound football next year, because, they're going into the jungle, man. The Big 12, big boys. He has, I don't know if he has to have some great recruiters. I just tell you that right now. Because that is where you get the offensive and defensive linemen, within those regions. So it's going to be interesting. All right. We've gone for 90 minutes like I wanted to do. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I want to be respectful of the fact that we are all starting our week off, hopefully on a great note. We'll get my man Samuel in here. Last comment, especially after they upset TCU in game 1. After that, all eyes on CU games. Yeah. And TCU's a solid program. So they got their work cut out for them. I'm interested to see how Colorado does next year. They clearly have to build up the offensive and defensive lines. Should do a solid. I actually think that Shiloh Sanders, as a safety product right now, I think Shiloh's a third-round pick. He's a little older. I'm sure Dion wants him back, but I think Shiloh would be a top 3-round draft pick this year if he went into the NFL draft. So that's going to be interesting to see if he comes back, maybe with the NIL opportunities. It's a win-win to stay in college one more year. But he's a big-time player. That dude hits. Totally different player than his dad was. He hits. And he tackles. He's a good football player. So it's going to be interesting. I want to thank everybody for stepping in the dungeon, man. I really appreciate y'all. I'm going to do my thing and get out of here. All right? Success and getting paid is a manifestation of the whole process. If you as an individual don't do things to help other people make their lives better, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't done nothing. All right? Probably be back on Wednesday after the Warriors game. Until then, everybody be safe. Hit me up at Big Frank Red on X, Twitter, whatever you go by at this point. If you have not subscribed to the program, hit the subscribe button. It definitely helps. And the like button also helps. I don't promote a whole lot. I wait until the end of the show. But if you want to continue on this journey with me and with us, please do that. Really appreciate it. All right? Good night, everybody. Peace.